Hi all, and welcome to today's webinar, focused on measuring and motivating your employees with meaningful metrics and gamification. We're delighted to have you all here with us today. My name is Ben Nimoy, the Marketing Manager here at CardioLog Analytics, and today we'll explore practical strategies for data analysis and decision-making during our webinar titled Leveling Up Employee Adoption Through CardioLog Analytics and Gamify. Let's get some logistics out of the way. Please feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation via the Q&A feature. I will address as many as I can at the end of the webinar, and this webinar will also be recorded, so I'll share the link with you all after the event if you want to share this with a colleague. Now let's dive in. In regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we'll start out with a very short introduction. I'll talk a little bit about CardioLog Analytics and who we are, and then I'll discuss the adoption and gamification. And from there, I'll dive into a presentation of CardioLog Analytics reports, showing you how to leverage these reports for the best insights and actionable data to improve user adoption. I'll also showcase our gamification solution, Gamify, to demonstrate how it can help assess the effectiveness of your adoption strategy. And as I mentioned, at the end, if we have time, we'll be taking some Q&A. So feel free to send your questions throughout the course of the presentation. So just a quick introduction. CardioLog Analytics has been providing analytics for 365 for about 19 years now. We started back with SharePoint on-prem and grew with Microsoft to the cloud. Today we track everything from SharePoint to Teams, OneDrive, Viva Engage, and so on. And a little bit about our vision as a company. This slide shows our evolution. Our goal is to help our customers constantly improve SharePoint based on how it's being used. The four main pillars we talk to customers about are monitoring activity, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint and Microsoft 365 platforms with in-depth intranet analytics, insights, and usage reports. Our customers realize that understanding usage analytics is often simply not enough. They wanted to take action based on the insights gained from monitoring their portal usage. And then enhance. We want to make sure we're constantly improving SharePoint and Microsoft 365 based on these pillars. The idea is to have actionable metrics, which allow us to constantly make SharePoint better for our users by increasing corporate productivity and improving portal ROI. The final pillar is incentivize. We can turn that data into a game as well. So instead of just the admins owning the data, we can make sure those end users have access to the data and can see how they compete with their colleagues, get points and coins, and we conclude by seeing how we can turn that raw data into exciting gamification and leverage that within our organization as well. When it comes to platforms like SharePoint and Microsoft 365, adoption goes beyond simply in deploying the technology within our organization. It's about ensuring that those tools are fully integrated into employees' daily workflows. Effective adoption transforms these tools into powerful platforms for driving business value by facilitating seamless collaboration, boosting productivity, and streamlining processes for managing and sharing organizational knowledge. It's about employees fully realizing the content management, document sharing, and collaborative workspaces to improve efficiency. However, achieving this level of adoption often encounters obstacles, such as resistance to change. This resistance can stem from uncertainty, lack of motivation, or the perceived complexity of new systems. Employees used to traditional document storage or email-based sharing may find transitioning to platforms like SharePoint and Microsoft 365 disruptive. If this resistance isn't addressed, adoption efforts may falter, leaving resources underutilized and knowledge-sharing practices ineffective. One effective way to overcome these challenges is through gamification. Gamification focuses the design of tools back to its most important element, the end user. Through the use of gaming mechanics and logic, gamification enables a shift towards human-focused design and can make work fun and meaningful, while at the same time fostering adoption, collaboration, and productivity. When we talk about games, or this virtual world, I think it's important for us to step back and ask ourselves how we get so consumed. How many of you play games or still play games till this day? Gamification is the process of adding game-like mechanics to other contexts in order to motivate or engage users. Game-like elements can include competitive tasks, goals, leaderboards, points, and anything else you might find in a typical game. The goal of gamification is to frame a non-game task as a game in order to make the task more appealing to users. In this way, employees are motivated to not only use these platforms, but to actively participate in creating content, sharing knowledge, and managing documents, all in line with company goals. This concept of gamification has evolved over time, drawing on early motivational studies in behavioral psychology to understand why people engage with certain tasks. A significant development in this field is the Octalysis framework. Created by Yu-Kai Chao in the early 2010s, this framework identifies 8 core drives of human motivation and provides a structured approach to designing gamified systems that tap into deeper motivations beyond superficial rewards. Exploring these 8 core drives, we first have epic meaning and calling, the drive to contribute to something bigger than oneself. Employees are motivated when their work serves a larger organizational mission. Development and accomplishment, the urge to achieve goals and see progress. Badges, progress bars, and milestones satisfy this drive by marking achievements. Empowerment of creativity and feedback, the desire to create, innovate, and receive feedback. Allowing employees to customize their workspace or develop solutions engages this drive. Ownership and possession, the motivation from feeling ownership over something. Personalizing SharePoint sites or managing projects creates a stronger connection to the platform. And social influence and relatedness, the drive from social interactions and recognition. Leaderboards, team challenges, or peer recognition tap into this drive by building a community and healthy competition. Scarcity and impatience, the impulse to act when resources or opportunities are limited. Time-sensitive challenges or exclusive rewards encourage quicker engagement. Unpredictability and curiosity, the intrigue of not knowing what will happen next. Surprises or random rewards keep employees engaged and exploring more features. And lastly, loss and avoidance, the drive to avoid negative outcomes. Deadlines or exclusive benefits for early adopters push employees towards timely engagement. By leveraging these core drives, gamification can accelerate the adoption process, making it more engaging. Employees can earn rewards for completing tasks, mastering features, or collaborating effectively, encouraging both individual engagement and team competition. To support a gamified approach, solutions like CardioLog Analytics and Gamify are instrumental to achieve this. CardioLog Analytics provides detailed dashboards and metrics, offering insights into how employees are engaging with SharePoint and Microsoft 365. These analytics help management track adoption progress, identifying areas where additional support is needed, and evaluate the effectiveness of gamification strategies. Visualizing this data allows organizations to make informed decisions to further enhance engagement. On the employee side, Gamify offers a banner that allows individuals to track their own progress. Having their own personalized banner that displays their completed tasks, earned badges, and leaderboard rankings taps into the drives for development and accomplishment, and ownership and possession, motivating employees to engage more deeply with the platforms. Real-time feedback and recognition empower employees to take charge of their learning journey, making the adoption process interactive and satisfying. By combining organizational insights from CardioLog Analytics with the personalized engagement tools of Gamify, businesses can create a synergistic environment that promotes sustained adoption. This dual approach ensures that while management can guide the overall strategy, employees can be encouraged to actively be involved and motivated to participate. In the end, this holistic approach not only drives higher engagement, but also cultivates a culture of continuous adoption, where every team member feels empowered to contribute to the organization's success. I'll move on now to showing the reports of CardioLog Analytics has to offer, designed to track adoption within your organization. And I'll talk you through ways in which we can leverage the different metrics provided in those reports. Here we can see the Power BI interface, and we can already see on the left-hand side the CardioLog reports. In Power BI, it's very easy to create and customize your own visuals and reports. However, we've built several pre-made dashboards that focus on the main goals that organizations using SharePoint tend to have. This is to make it easier for our customers to get started, and to make sure you're getting the analytics you need in order to meet your portal goals. Our reports provide insights around SharePoint adoption, engagement, improving usability, optimizing portal resources, collaboration, and more. We'll begin by diving into CardioLog Analytics Usage Overview Report. This dashboard is designed to give a high-level overview of how the portal is being used. First, what we can see on the left-hand side is the portal tree filter. This is the hierarchy of the portal, including all the site collections that you're tracking, and everything within them. So all the subsites, lists, libraries, and then the actual items themselves. That would be the pages, documents, and the list items. Everything will appear here in the portal tree filter. And you can use this in order to filter any report, to focus only on the particular areas of the report that you're interested in. For example, if you want to get information about all your track sites, you can just click on All to see data for everything. But if you're a site owner and you want to get information specifically about just your site, you can select it from the portal tree filter and you'll get the relevant information specifically for your site. Or maybe you want to focus on a specific list or library. If, for example, you have a particular list that you use for news articles, and you want to see how these news articles are performing, you can just click on the relevant list to see data only for the pages in this list. As well, you can go a step further and filter by the page type at the top right-hand side, for instance by news page, unpublished page, or regular site page. The idea is that you can select any object that you want to see information for a specific area within SharePoint using the different filters available. Please also keep in mind that your selections in the portal tree filter within this usage overview report will synchronize across all other report pages as well. This means if you select data for a specific site, you'll see the visuals filtered for just that selected site in all the other reports as well. Another type of filter that we have is based on the content type, or the template in SharePoint. So if you want to focus on documents or blog posts, for example, all you need to do is click on the relevant button at the top here. And this will filter your report to show you only the relevant information. This includes any custom content types that you've added to SharePoint. Next, let's dive into the content section. So if we want to understand content trends over time, and what's the most popular content, inactive content, and so forth, we can see that right here within the content section. Looking at the table at the bottom, here I have a list of all the most popular items in SharePoint, which helps us to understand what we can really focus on and what actions we can take. So as I put this table of contents into focus mode, by default, we are seeing all of our most popular content based on these page view numbers. Also when it was last viewed, how much time they spent viewing this content, how many unique users viewed the content, even who created the content and its size. This is really powerful information because once you know what's popular, you may want to link that to your SharePoint homepage. So this page, for example, is really popular. So instead of people wasting time searching for it on your site, you can quickly make a link to it on the homepage because you already know what's most popular among your users. Even going a step further, if you already have a designated space for quick links, links you believe to be commonly used, this feature becomes even more valuable because now you can verify and ensure that these links truly are the ones receiving the most engagement. Now let's flip that around with the page views, and now we're showing all the inactive content. So it's all the content not being used or haven't been viewed at all, whether it's sites, documents, pages, wikis, or more. So what's the real value in this analysis? It's about streamlining our content to enhance user experience. First, we can identify and remove the content that isn't being utilized. Then, if we see that we have important but outdated content, we can go ahead and update it. And lastly, if that content is already up to date, and you know it's not being viewed by your users, we can increase its visibility if that content is something that you want your users to be seeing. This could mean linking it to our homepage or making it more accessible in other ways. By doing so, we can ensure that our users can easily find and access the content that matters the most. So that's the action that we can take based on what's most popular and least popular. Let's go back to the main report and look at some other ways we can interact with the data you've collected. Firstly, our Date Slicer tool allows you to tailor the date range for your analytics. We typically store a year's worth of data, but this can be extended beyond 12 months. You can access usage data from the time your site was first onboarded and tracked. You'll find that every data point in this dashboard is interactive. When you click on any element, it filters the entire dashboard based on your selection. For instance, clicking on a specific department will display usage data exclusively for that department. That means for something like the most popular content, you can drill down to see which items are most utilized by, say, the quality assurance department. Similarly, selecting a specific content item also filters the report to show its performance and the departments engaging with it the most. CardioLog Analytics also provides versatile functionalities, including export, edit, sharing options with capabilities to embed reports into SharePoint, export them to Excel, PowerPoint, or PDF, manage report permissions throughout the front desk team, subscribe for regular updates, and customize reports easily with a variety of data fields and visualizations. Next, we'll move on to the leadership overview. This area of the report focuses on visitors. Find out the percentage of employees that are visiting your sites and how that differs from last quarter. Are more employees visiting your sites this quarter, or were engagement levels better last quarter? Immediately, you could find out that 27% more users visited your sites this quarter, and you'll know if you're doing better or not. You can also change the filter to compare month to month or year to year. Understanding your users and what interests them for increased usage is important. While we already know which audiences are using the sites the most, as well as those that use it the least, what you can see reported here is the growth potential, users that could be visiting your sites more. We have listed the content that users from the bottom segment were most interested in. And we know that by targeting the bottom audiences with the content their colleagues are interested in, we can increase your portal engagement by 168 monthly users. You can select which audiences you want to focus on in the audience filter. After you take action and start to target those specific audiences with the content of interest to them, you can easily then revisit this data to see if the action you took actually helped to increase the engagement levels for that audience. Now we know that, for example, in this quarter, users who we targeted in the financial department visited the sites 0.31% more than last quarter. We show you insights about activity patterns to help you understand how well the portal is performing. At the end of the day, leadership wants to know if users are engaging with the portal as often as intended. Here you can see that users that visited the portal 1.16 days a month and spent 0.3 hours in the portal, which has increased by 91% compared to last month. This insight is crucial, as it helps determine if enhanced engagement strategies are needed to boost visitor retention or improve content relevancy to encourage longer visits. Let's focus on the content itself and what topics are gathering more attention and trending. You can now quickly see which content is gaining more traction compared to before. Take this content, for example. We see it attracted 8% more users this month than when it was initially published last month, which is really powerful information if we want to see our efforts and content reach is improving and effective. You can choose to focus on specific types of content, whether it's documents, news articles, or anything else using this filter. If you are publishing news articles and aim to broaden their reach by promoting them through weekly newsletters, you can refer to this top trending report to verify if your efforts are effective in attracting more viewers to these articles and to monitor any growth. Additionally, you can track the impact of your newsletters, specifically by observing the successful campaign visual. It shows which campaigns brought the most traffic to your site and can therefore tell you how many visitors who read the news articles were directed there from your weekly newsletter. In this report, we can see how many times each of content was viewed directly and how many times it was viewed through a campaign. Similarly, by analyzing trending search phrases, you can identify which topics or terms are gathering interest among your visitors and tailor your content to align with these emerging trends and increase engagement and visitor retention. The leadership dashboard saves significant time by eliminating the need for extensive data analysis and decision making. We now generate insights for you, which means you no longer need to ponder over data and you can present these findings directly to leadership. Next, I'll move on to visitor adoption. Understanding user adoption is a critical aspect for any organization utilizing SharePoint, and stakeholders often ask how they can better engage users to utilize the portal more efficiently. And so to address this, we've developed a series of reports focusing on user adoption. This particular report provides a comprehensive overview of adoption metrics. Take the active users graph, for example. It contrasts the number of active SharePoint users, those who logged in at least once during a selected date range, against inactive users. Another key metric is the average depth of visit, which indicates the average number of pages visited per session. So, if you would have seen a low number, like 1 or 2, it would suggest limited engagement and would signal a potential area for improvement. Above that, we have the average length of visit metric, which reflects the typical time users spend per visit and is a key indicator of how deeply users are engaging with the portal. Extended visit durations usually imply that the content resonates well with users, hinting at a successful user experience design. In contrast, brief visits may signal the need for more engaging and more relevant content. Also, keep in mind that we do stop counting a session after 30 minutes of idle time. So if a user is interacting with the portal and then leaves to make a cup of coffee, for example, and returns after 30 minutes, that session will be counted as new. Meanwhile, single page visits percentage reveals the initial user engagement by tracking visits with only one page viewed. A high rate may indicate issues at the first point of contact, like unclear navigation or unengaging landing pages. This metric can help us enhance our portal's entry points to better capture and retain users' interests. Underneath, we have the bounce rate. In CardioLog SaaS, a bounce is defined as a visit that ended within 30 seconds. So this will show us the percentage of visits that lasted no more than 30 seconds. We can find out more information about our users at the bottom right with this chart, such as how many new versus returning visitors we have to our sites. However, we can take a look at our active versus inactive users reports to delve deeper into user activity levels. The active and inactive users chart breaks down user activity by department, helping identify departments with higher rates of inactivity. For instance, by selecting the IT department, we can explore the specific engagement metrics, including the depth, that is the average amount of pages opened during each visit per session for all users, and duration of visits, and identify both highly engaged and less active users within the department to know who is not very active. So you can target those who need more training, more support, and improve their adoption rates. This can also help us identify which departments are most active within SharePoint and which departments are lagging behind, and help us identify where we might need to focus some of our training efforts or encourage more user interaction instead of taking a one-size-fits-all strategy. This breakdown by departments is also customizable. It can be any attribute you'd like to use, like region, country, branch, or job title. Now that we explored how CardioLog Analytics provides detailed insights to track and enhance user adoption, let's shift our focus to Gamify, which takes a more interactive approach by actively engaging end users and motivating them to adopt SharePoint through game-like elements. While analytics help you to understand adoption trends, Gamify turns that data into actionable user engagement by rewarding and encouraging employees to reach their adoption goals. Starting with our administrator dashboard, this report gives the administrators an overview of how their groups and users are performing within the organization and what all their scores are. Across the top, you can see the total of adopted users as well as adopted groups, along with the current round and days left. The current round is a period of time set by the admin. For example, a round of a game could be 30 days, so then the days left show how many days are left in that round. Then we see the list of most adopted groups as well as their scores, and we could drill down to the user level by seeing who the most adopted people are. You can also filter that and search for a specific group, and it will automatically show you, as well as the order of the people in that group. Next, if we hop over to what each end user sees, first of all, without leaving the user SharePoint portal, the user can see at a glance how many points they have, what their rank is compared to others, with their characteristics, their department's rank compared to others, and then the next steps that they need to take to boost their score. Gamify is a very innovative tool, driving and influencing SharePoint end user adoption. Different from any admin usage report, this tool is dedicated to end users, and it drives employee engagement as well as pushes them to reach certain SharePoint goals that the organization is trying to meet. So from here, we can see that the end user is able to understand how many points they have, their current level, and how far away that they are from reaching the next level. Alongside this, there are the three types of personas. Each persona is used to profile the user based on their usage. We have the engager, which is someone who rates content, likes content, follows content and people. The observer or explorer, which is someone who views content and performs searches. And lastly, the contributor. This is someone who writes posts, comments, uploads docs, and furthermore. A user's rank in each persona is determined by which actions and skills they've accomplished. Here under Top Explorers, users can see how they stack up against those within their group who have ranked the highest in the same persona as themselves. If we take a look at the top groups here in the middle, this is where you can view the leaderboard to see how your group ranks against the other groups in the organization. Top employees, on the other hand, is where you see which of your colleagues are the top performers this week within the three Gamify personas. So you can clearly see here that Deborah is the top contributor of the week. And then here on the right-hand side, which is very neat, you can see the next actions you need to take to increase your score as an end user. Easily click on the links provided to get ahead of the game. What is really extraordinary is that Gamify will step up your organization's motivation and adoption by going above and beyond usage reports for admins and actually focusing on the end users by understanding exactly what areas end users are lacking in, enabling users to be empowered and strengthened in various areas such as education, knowledge, self-involvement, and more, boosting employees' motivation and self-performance, and promoting users' contributions and driving teamwork. So as you've seen in this demo, the end user as well as the admin can and must leverage this tool To summarize, the end user can see where they stand in terms of their engagement level, how they perform over a period of time, and how they compare to their colleagues. And on the admin side, they can see where their end users or departments stand in terms of engagement, how their end users or departments perform over a period of time, and how one department compares to another. So, as a reminder, to send any questions to the question box. These are some of the excellent reports CardioLog Analytics SaaS has to offer for your organization to leverage in order to get the best solutions of your SharePoint or Microsoft 365 environment. And to solve some of the most pressing SharePoint challenges, we've introduced Gamify, a new way to drive adoption and productivity through a gamified user experience. It helps you to make your activities, content, and your users more visible within the intranet, with the end goal of boosting SharePoint adoption and productivity. With Gamify, your organizations can drive repeat visits to SharePoint to ensure compliance, communication, and requirements are met, drive social engagement, create a strong social driver for the use of SharePoint, and continue being active. And gamification encourages collaboration and rewards it, creating a strong social driver for the use of SharePoint. Using the recognition to reward contributions and drive employee adoption via badges, leaderboards, and tokens. Employee recognition can always be improved, and gamification can provide continuous recognition and drive employee adoption of and contribution to SharePoint. This in turn acts to create the cycle that would bring more people into using SharePoint as a key component in their work habits. You can also tap into user motivation, encouraging users with targeted user dashboards and web parts within SharePoint, displaying their engagement score, how they compare to their peers, their best performing content, and the next step suggestions, and then to improve onboarding and training processes with user score updates and next step suggestions. Gamification works well in training, whether for onboarding or on the job. It can tie into any use of SharePoint. Used throughout SharePoint, it can create a measurable increase in the completion of training tasks and involvement in learning. Gamify boosts SharePoint adoption, so your organizations can realize the many benefits of group collaboration and the self-development of employees. Going beyond a brief adoption project, Gamify lets organizations create lasting changes in behavior that pushes employees to seek higher performance in their daily tasks, as well as boost communication and collaboration within Microsoft 365. Please do send us any questions you may have in the GoToWebinar question box. A question from Rachel. What is the licensing for this? Well, this is a SaaS platform, so a yearly subscription based on the number of users being tracked. I'd be happy to send you a link with the pricing page and get you additional information once we know how many additional users you want to track and target with these tools. Another question from Andrew. Can we use it for SharePoint Online? Well, yes, absolutely. You can use this tool within SharePoint on-prem as well as SharePoint Online. Within Office 365, we can track SharePoint and Viva Engage forms. Question from James. Can we target different departments? Yes. One of the things CardioLog does is connect the SharePoint profile, so you can track any region, department, branch, job title, so on, and really any other details you use to segment your users and leverage those properties within the analytics as well as Gamify. I think that's all we have time for, so I'll just wrap this up. So as a reminder, we have recorded this webinar, and we'll be sending out a recording afterwards for you to share with your colleagues who are unable to attend. We invite you to visit us at CardioLogAnalytics.com to book your free demo or trial of any of the solutions to be shown today, whether it's CardioLog Analytics or Gamify. You can always tweet us at CardioLog. And for more information and helpful tips, you can check out our blog at blog.cardiologanalytics.com. For more information, you can contact us at info@cardiologanalytics.com. And I want to say a huge thanks for everyone who joined us today and sent in their questions. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead, and I hope to see you next time.